Slime Volley Ball. This game might not look like much, but it's a certified cult classic. Back in its heyday, it had a massive number of players, with visitors to its homepage getting into the tens of thousands per day. I first played Slime Volleyball during maths lessons in the computer room. There was little to do in the way of mathematics, so we mostly just played games. One day somebody discovered Slime Volleyball, and we all got hooked. Slime Volleyball is fundamentally an extremely simple game. You're a slime, your opponent is a slime, and you have to hit a ball and have it land on your opponent's side of the court. Simple though it is, the opponents you face put up one hell of a fight, with 5 opponents of increasing difficulty. After a bit of time spent with it, you realise how addictive it is. You learn new techniques, you get a feel for it, you learn the weaknesses of the opponents, and you get hooked. I loved Slime Volleyball so much I even tried to make my own clone of it in Game Maker 6. Was it any good? No, it was actually surprisingly unplayable. So where did Slime Volleyball come from? How did a game that looks like this get so popular? The Slime Volleyball we all know and love is not actually the original Slime Volleyball. The game we've all been playing is actually One Slime, which is a mod of a remake of the original game. Little is known about the creator of the original game, and it's largely credited to Anonymous. There is a rumour going around that the original creator goes by the name of Holding Kvasnik, or Holden. He's thought to have developed the game whilst living in the United Kingdom, but this is all just hearsay. We have no idea whether any of this is true, or if Holden is even a real person, and searching his name reveals no more leads. Even today, nobody has come forward to say that they're the original creator. The original Slime Volleyball, that is Slime Volley Ball, with a space, was uncovered by a computer science student of Australia, Clive Gout, who insisted on sending it to everyone else on their course. As described by one of the developers of One Slime, Daniel Wedge, also known as Wedgie, the graphics are shit, the physics are dodgy as hell, but it's addictive. The original Slime Volleyball was built as a Java applet, which is now mostly defunct and most browsers don't support them anymore. So to play it we have to go where no sane man will ever go, to Internet Explorer. Once we pass a few hurdles, we're finally here. The very first Slime Volleyball. Well, the physics are weird, the ball never goes where you'd expect. The ball can phase through you as well, and the opponent somehow seems to know exactly what they're doing, so they always win. And then the game just says, you lose. I'm not sure what happens if you win, because I can't, but I imagine the game just says, you win. This game really isn't very much, but it does have huge historical importance, because without it, One Slime would never exist. Quinn Pendragon, sometimes known as Fractoid, was one of the first year computer science students who received a link to Slime Volleyball from Clive Gout. After playing, he went and set about making a 2-player version of the game. In August of 1999, Quinn's 2-player Slime Volleyball is released, and it becomes a hit amongst students. Quinn Pendragon is a national hero. He's awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his work. Also, I made some of that up. This game is far superior to the original Slime Volleyball it's based upon. The ball physics now behave as you would expect, allowing players to hone their skills and come up with their own techniques for playing. Important differences between this and One Slime is that you can press the down key to change slime colours, but at this time there was no AI opponents available. If a slime scores 3 points in a row, they become on fire, which means they flash, and they move twice as fast as normal. When a slime is 1 point away from winning, a huge smile appears on their face. It was only 2 months later, in October of 1999, that the first slime tournament was held. Quinn and Scotty Brown become the ones to beat, but eventually Quinn wins in the end with his superior skills. plus he has the advantage of being the person who actually made the game. Days later, more students come out of the woodwork and want to join in. A bigger tournament is organised, and once again, Quinn secures his place as the Slime Volleyball master. But his opponent puts up a good fight, resulting in an epic hour-long game. After this, slime games fade into the background, and attempts at organising tourneys fail to get enough interest. Slime Volleyball goes quiet, and nothing happens for over a year. To think, this could have been the end of the Slime Volleyball story. It's January 2001. Quinn announces that Slime Volleyball is now open source, and a new era of slime games begins. Mods start trickling through. The first mod is Flying Slime. Flying Slime allows players to jump infinitely, with the slime sprouting wings whilst in the air. It's actually quite good, but playing against yourself can be quite lonely. Flying Slime breaks down all barriers and allows players to cross the net into their opponent's side of the court, which can lead to some really interesting games. Wedgie asks Quinn to add stats to Slime Volleyball. Quinn tells Wedgie to do it himself, so he does. Slime AFL allows you to play as teams of the Australian Football League, and also adds codes you can enter for effects. Scoring gets a refactor and matches are now timed, so there's no more epic hour-long Slime Volleyball matches. Initially, Slime AFL is not very popular, but eventually it catches on and becomes the choice of game for the third Slime tournament. 16 people compete, one for each AFL team. Scott and Quinn once again come head-to-head in the final, and Quinn is finally dethroned, losing his first Slime Volleyball tournament. A larger tournament is planned for between July and September 2001 to mirror the 2001 AFL season. It's now July 2001, it's summer break from university. Wedgie adds replays to AFL Slime, and he also begins working on computer-controlled slimes. This is the first ever attempt at developing slime AI since the original game was released. The first AI-controlled slime is unable to serve properly and has glaring weaknesses, and this slime goes on to become the second opponent in one slime, Angry Red Slimmons. Angry Red Slimmons has some cheap serves, but if you hit the balls to the back of the court, he usually gets flustered and loses the round. The epic slime tournament that was planned to mirror the 2001 AFL season has one single game before being abandoned. August 16th, 2001 marks the first ever National Slime Day. This was an important day in history, as this was the day that the slime game we all know and love was released. One Slime is born. And so we finally have One Slime, a single-player slime volleyball game where players must go up against computer-controlled opponents. This must be where the game finally takes off. Except, nobody plays it. Wedgie doesn't really care that much. It does spark some arguments between members of the University of Western Australia's slime team, as they can't decide whose idea it was to add AI players in the first place. 4 days later, Army Slime was revealed to the world. This was a mod developed by Tim Lightfoot, known for his work creating the wind particles in AFL Slime. In Army Slime, it's like volleyball, but slimes are given random power-ups they can use to influence the ball's movements. This game was later renamed to Power Slime. By August 31st, 2001, One Slime is starting to make numbers. In just over 2 weeks, it's had over 2,000 hits to its page. By September the 15th, 7,000 people have visited One Slime. The fourth slime tourney finally becomes a reality, although it was trimmed down from 185 games to only 19. This time the tournament takes on a different structure, allowing players to lose 1 or 2 games and still go on to the final. Wedgie defeats the previous champion Scott in a best-of-3 series. His hard work has paid off. He's proved that he's the true slime master. One Slime was hosted in Tartarus, the sunless abyss below Hades, used as a dungeon of torment and suffering for the wicked. No, sorry. Tartarus was the University of Western Australia student web server. One Slime quickly became the most popular site on the server. with Quinn's 2-player Slime Volley Ball and Power Slime following closely behind. During October of 2001, One Slime registers 100,000 hits. During November 2001, an attempt at a networked 2-player slime game was made. This attempt sadly failed due to the game being very slow, and to date we still don't have an online slime multiplayer game. Beyond that, the rest of 2001 passes with no real slime news, but during early 2002 a new game emerged, and Cricket Slime was released. Cricket Slime turned out to be a big deal, showing that slimes are versatile enough to participate in other sports. This would go on to trigger a huge influx of other slime sports games to be produced. In the meantime, months pass with no more news, but in May of 2002, Quinn is struck by inspiration. He decides to ignore his 15-page essay due in 36 hours and instead sets to work on Soccer Slime, yet another entry in the series of slime sports games. Shortly after the game is published, the game starts getting visitors at a rate of 1 per minute. Soccer Slime is another hit. The cascade of new slime sports games has begun. New entries in the slime series are World Cup Soccer, Elastic Soccer, Space Soccer, Slime Dunk Basketball, Slime Bowling, Ice Hockey, Rugby, Balance Pole Slime, Dodgeball, Boxing, Water Polo, 3-player soccer, and a 4-player volleyball all-star game. Some of these games are of quite dubious quality. The new slime games bring back interest in tournaments. In October of 2002, the 6th slime tourney takes place. Wedgie wins against Scott once again, but the game is closely matched with a final score of 26-23. Wedgie remains the slime master. One Slime still remains hugely popular during all of this. In early 2003, the page gets 30,000 hits in a single day. In October of 2005, One Slime finally moves away from the student web server to its own domain, oneslime.net, which is where it remains today. After this, nothing happens for a very long time. The computer science cohort who made slime games so popular have all graduated, and the golden age of slime games has ended. In September 2020, One Slime is ported to HTML5. So do people still play Slime Volleyball? Will there ever be another slime tournament? Will new games ever be made? Will we ever get an online version of Slime Volleyball? Will this video trigger a new generation of people to suddenly start playing Slime Volleyball? OneSlime.net still gets a few hundred hits per day, so there's definitely people out there still playing the games. And for such an old niche game, a few hundred visitors a day is pretty good. Quinn and Daniel have produced a few more official slime games. Slime Cricket, produced in 2002, has also been ported to HTML5 now. Slime Cricket also had a 2004 remake, which included AI slimes, and this has also been ported. Another more surprising 2004 remake was a 2004 version of One Slime, made by Chris Coyne, whom I've never heard of. He links to his website in the game though, so let's see if it's still live. Much to my surprise, it turns out Chris Coyne is co-founder of some very well-known projects, including OkCupid, Keybase and SparkNotes. He was making Slime Volleyball mods at the same time OkCupid was launched. Who would have expected such a significant name to be attached to this game? Slime Tennis, which hasn't really been mentioned before, is also hosted on OneSlime.net, but it has yet to be ported. It's currently in redevelopment, with Coming Soon attached to it, so that should be coming out eventually. OneSlime.net used to have a wiki and forums, but they were inundated with spam, so they've since been removed. The Slime Volleyball shop, in which we could buy cool merchandise featuring the big blue boss, has also since gone. And honestly, I think this is probably the biggest shame, because I definitely would wear a Slime Volleyball t-shirt. One thing that still remains through all this is the Slime Volleyball MySpace page. I think the biggest surprise here is that MySpace still actually exists at all. A few slime games have gone dark. The 666 edition of One Slime, created to commemorate the 6th of June 2006, has seemingly disappeared off the internet, with very little to indicate that it even existed in the first place. AFL Slime has to be one of the most elusive slime games I've mentioned, only hosted on a couple of weird-looking old websites. On the same site I found AFL Slime, there's also NHL Slime, with NHL being the National Hockey League, which is another rare slime game. Who knows what slime games have been and gone, disappearing without a trace. A lot of slime games are archived on slimegames.eu, but they require Java applet support, which most modern browsers don't support. Internet Explorer is one browser that does support them, but with Internet Explorer going away in June 2022, it may eventually become impossible to play these games. But I'm just being dramatic because you can use the IE tab extension for Chrome, like I do. Although many of the slime team from the University of Western Australia have long since grown up and now have the reality of life to deal with, we don't know what the future holds for slime games. Maybe there will be a resurrection in the slime movement. Probably not, but it's been a fun ride.